Welcome my dear friends. This is the second lecture of the chapter Insight into Program Execution. In the first chapter I had covered the operating systems and its features. And in this system I am going to cover that is the compiler, interpreter, difference between the both and the cloud computing. So now starting with the introduction that what is the source code and machine code. So the source code is that code that is written by the programmer in any of the programming language in order to create any type of web page, website or application. So the source code is a proper code written by the programmer, whereas the machine code is the code that is converted into the machine level language so that the computer can easily understand it and work it, or you can say directly execute the source code. So for the execution point of view, the source code must be translated into the machine code, and then the computer understand the machine language and execute the source code written by the programmer. So there are language translators which works on the translation of the source code into the machine code. So before starting with the compiler and interpreter, you should know the concept of the language translator. So suppose there are two peoples want to communicate with each other and there is a language difference between these two people. One person known a language A and the second person known another language that is B. So when the person A does not know language B and similarly the second person does not knows language A, then how they will communicate? And the communication is the necessary part of our society, of your thing. So what will be happen? There will be a translator. It may be a software when we are talking about the softwares. It may be a person when we are talking about in general sense. And the translator will be the knowledge of the both two language. He will take the language A as the input and then translate it into the language B. And similarly, it will take the language B as the input and translate into the language A. So with the help of that translator, the two person who knows language A and the language B will communicate easily. So this is the actual work of the language translator, which takes a language as an input and converts into the other language, and similarly it takes the other language into the as the input and convert into the first language. So in the starting there were one converter, that is assembler. So the work of the assembler is only to convert the assembly language into the machine level language, and apart from the assembler there are two more translators are there, that is the compiler and the interpreter. So nowadays we are using high level language and the generation 3 and 4 language. So we are using compiler and interpreter as the language translator in our programming languages. So the basic difference that what I want to told you like this, the compiler and the interpreter. So the compiler takes the whole program as the input and it converts the whole program into the object code in a single go. Means when you have entered the source code into the compiler for the execution, the compiler take it as the input whole program and then convert it into the object code. That object code will again convert it into the machine code and executed by the computer. And each and every time when there is any change in the program, the compilation is required. So now going in the deep, there are several steps in the compiler. The first is pre-processing, second is compilation, third is analysis, fourth is synthesis, next is assembly, and the last is linking. So we will going with each and every topic step by step. The first one is the pre-processing phase. The pre-processing phase is that phase in which the pre-processing of the source code is done before the actual processing by the CPU. In this code, if there is some lines or the some codes which are not executable, means if there are some comments or some other expanded, so this type of lines is eliminated from the source code, and now this is the original source code which has to be translated into the object code. The next is compilation phase. So the compilation phase can be divided into two phases. The first is analysis phase and the second is synthesis phase. So in the analysis phase, the compiler identifies all the tokens in the source code and create a symbol table for it. So what is the token? Token is the smallest programming unit. Means if we are using any unit, it may be any punctuation mark, it may be any alphabet, it may be any number, it may be any data structure. So every individual part is taken as the token. So in the analysis phase, all the tokens is identified and a symbol table is created in this phase. The next phase is the synthesis phase. The synthesis phase is the source codes and generates syntax tree out of it. Means it creates a hierarchy, means according to the flow of the statement the tree is created. Now once the syntax tree is created, it means the code is converted into the assembly language instructions, and in the assembly phase the assembly instruction is converted into the object code. Now moving forward, the next slide is a linking phase. So when we are coding anything, that we are not writing every line of code in our syntax, there are some libraries available that we include it while we are starting coding or when we are writing the source code. So in this phase, our source code is linked with those library that which are included in our source code, and the part of the compiler which performs the linking operation in the compiler is called the linker. The next is a loader. So the loader is a part of the compiler that loads the executable program into the memory for the final executions. So when the object code is created, now is to be executed, and for the execution, when the object code or the machine understandable code is copied into the memory in order to execution, then this part is done with the help of the loader. So this was all about compiler, and now moving through with the interpreter. So what is interpreter? Interpreter also converts the source code into the machine level language. So the difference between the compiler and interpreter is like that the interpreter analyze one line of the code and then converts it into object code. If there is any library is required, then it adds it and run it, and then again it analyze the next line, convert it, add the libraries if required, and then again execute. So the interpreter done each and every execution and conversion line by line in a sequential manner. So this is the basic difference between the compiler and interpreter. That this is a single line that what I used to make learn to my students, that the compiler starts with letter C and the complete word is also start with letter C. So the compiler take the complete source code CC. So the compiler takes the complete source code as the input, and at same time or in a single go it converts it into the object code, whereas interpreter converts line by line source code into the machine understandable language. And one main point also that what I want to add is this, that there is no any execution module in the compiler, because in the compiler conversion is a different thing and the execution of the program is a different thing. But in the interpreter a conversion module is also included, so that each and every line is get converted into the machine level language and then it is executed by the interpreter. So this is a comparison chart of the compiler and interpreter. So input The compiler takes the entire program at the same time, and the interpreter takes a single line of code. Whereas the term output, it generates the intermediate object code, but in the case of interpreter there is no any object code is created, because when every line is converted, it is executed at once. So the compiler compiles the program or convert the program before the execution, but in the interpreter, the compilation and the execution, both operations take place simultaneously at the same time. So the speed of the compiler is relatively fast than the interpreter. The memory requirement is more due to the creation of the object code. As the object code is created, it is also stored in the memory, whereas there is no object code created in the interpreter, so there is no need to store any type of object code in the memory. So the memory requirement in the case of the compiler is higher than the interpreter. Now moving to the next topic, that is the error. So when we are talking about the compiler, at the end of the compilation, the compiler gives a list of the error with the line number given. Means after the compilation of the complete program, there is a list of error. If any there is source code, then it will display it at the same time. And in the interpreter, if there is any error occurred, then the interpreter will be stopped at the same time and the error will be shown on the screen. So the error detection in the compiler is a little bit difficult as compared with the interpreter. And the main program, that is C, C++, C#, uses the compiler, whereas PHP, Perl, Python, Ruby uses the interpreter. So as you have to study Python, that you should know that Python is an interpreted language. Our next topic is cloud computing. So what is cloud computing? Cloud computing is basically on-demand availability of the computer system resources, especially for the data storage and for the computing parts, without the direct involvement of or the management of the user. So nowadays we are all using cloud, in the sense while we are saving our data on the Google Drive, this is also a sort of cloud computing, that what we are using in our to save our data. So there are two types of clouds are available. First one is the public cloud and the second is the private cloud. So the public cloud are those clouds which are available for any type of user that who wants to purchase them. They may be free of cost or sold on demand, but there is no any restrictions of any employment of any other type of restrictions are there. They are available for all type of users. While the next is the private cloud. So the private cloud is confined with such kind of offices, businesses, and the people involved in such businesses are only allowed to access these type of clouds. There are proper login ID and passwords are available there, and there are many company firewall and internal hosting to ensure that the operation and the sensitive data are not accessible to the third party providers. So there are basically two types of the clouds available. And according to the services provided by the cloud computing, it can be divided into four sections. The first one is the software as a service. In this type of service, the softwares are installed in the cloud location or in the remote locations. Many apps are there, and users can use those softwares and apps in the system without installing it. So the software experiences are delivered through the internet. Means the app is installed on the cloud and the user is using it on its own system. The next is platform as a service. So this type of service is provided to those persons or the people who are developing any particular type of websites. There are variety of platforms available on the clouds, and according to the need of the developer, they can select any of them need to build their own clouds. The next is infrastructure as a service. In this type of service, the cloud provides data centers, hardware, networking, storage, etc. And the cloud users rent storage, computational maintenance for the cloud providers. Pay as you go as like utility. So the next is data as a service. As you know, data is the important part of any work. So the data turns to information, information turns to knowledge, and finally knowledge turns to intelligence. So in the field of the data mining, the cloud computing also working a lot. So with the help of the cloud services, the people empowers with the knowledge, the people empowers with the application and services with the intelligence, and there are many other benefits are available. Those means they are essentials and popular cloud servers are nowadays. So the benefits are like this, that there is no longer required to make large upfront capital investment or the data centers, because we are using the data centers available on the clouds, and eliminates that need to plant ahead for provisioning, allows company to start a small business, increase their resource investment as needed, because with the help of cloud computing they need not to install everything on their own system. They can take work from the clouds, and many other benefits are also there. So across to a strong ecosystem of widely deployed applications, integration with existing IT assets, these are the few benefits also provided by the cloud computing. And this is all about today's sessions. Thank you.